What's something that's influenced you in your art you never got to talk about before?
Ooh. I think that there are a couple of books that have influenced, or at least when I was writing this recent album, I was thinking about a lot. The books are Boy Swallows Universe, and then also Cloud Street by Tim Winton, although maybe I read that after I actually finished the album, but it feels relevant. And I say those two books because they both talk about really like suburban Australia and very like real Australian life in this very beautiful way that I tried to capture with specifically the album visuals more so than the lyrics, but yeah, the kind of world that I was trying to capture is definitely something that those books did really well, where it's also like quite magic and gritty at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Who are your biggest idols growing up?
Oh, my biggest idols growing up. Okay. I loved Kanye so hard. Sophie, the producer.
Yep.
And who else? Loved Charlie XCX. In 2015, I was in or maybe 2014. Yeah. I was in high school and I saw her play in Brisbane at this venue called the Met, and I was in the front row, and TK was the opening act, and TK like came out and sung Fancy with her, which is that song with Iggy Azalea. TK did the Iggy rap, and I got the set list from the stage. That was really cool. Lots of different things, but yeah, love them.
What is your most prized possession?
My most prized possession? Okay. Ooh. I have quite a few treasures, but I think since my little sister passed away, anything I have of hers is my most prized possession. I've got like her old ID. I love that. Yeah, anything that was hers. Her books that were on her bedside table. And this vase I gave her for Christmas. Yeah.
When you tour around the world or even just around Australia, is there an element of Brisbane that you take with you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that honestly, I feel like you can take the girl out of Brisbane, but you can't take Brisbane out of the girl. I don't know exactly what it is, though. But I have noticed that I really do gravitate, since living in Melbourne, gravitate towards people that aren't from here. Like people from Queensland, people from the country, people from Tassie and Adelaide. And I think it's because it's kind of like a similar energy to being from Brisbane. Like not being from the biggest city where all the cool stuff is. Yeah.
Do you feel trapped at all by the current system of streaming and algorithms and stuff like that?
It's a good question. I actually think that it's worked in my favor pretty well. Like I've been one of the people that's had a bit of luck with it, although it's still a very gross system where it's like 0.0003 cents a stream before you split it among everyone who's got a stake in that. I wouldn't say I feel trapped though. I think it's maybe because that's kind of what I've always known. I can understand how bands that are like 5-10 years older and had success in CD era, and at times where there was more money to be made from actual like physical music, that would feel really frustrating. But I also am like not one to try and keep up with what everyone says you're meant to try and keep up with, because if you did exactly what the labels told you to do to make the most out of the streaming algorithms, you'd be releasing a song every 6 weeks for like the rest of your life. But I don't think that trying to keep up with those things is like a sustainable or interesting way to do something creative.
Sure. You mentioned some books that inspired you for the album. What's the best book you've read recently?
The best book I've read recently, I loved Cloud Street by Tim Winton. I loved... My friend gave me this collection of short stories by this American writer called Manual for Cleaning Women, I think that's what it's called. And that was really cool. It's like, I think I've realised that I really like realism in writing. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Great. What other art forms outside of music are you interested in?
Definitely fashion.
Yep.
I don't really watch movies or TV shows very much, but I find music videos and photography really exciting. Yeah, but mostly clothes and fashion.
Is there anything you've ever worked on outside of music, a piece of art that you're particularly proud of, or you had something to do with it that was particularly proud of?
I mean, lately I've been really enjoying when my friends are making music videos, just being there as an extra set of hands and helping in whatever way. Again, like about my sister, she was an amazing poet, and I'm going to put together a bunch of her writing for a poetry book because she was working on that before she passed away. But other than that, I don't know. I'll make clothes one day.
You filmed the Hideaway video here at
Yeah,
this location. Yeah. What made you pick this location?
Okay, so on kind of the theme of magical realism, this was more silly than how we've usually been approaching that with the music videos, but we didn't have much money left in the music video budget, and so I was like, what if we did like a medieval castle rave? And so we filmed it here for the dragon, and then we also filmed it in my stairwell with my neighbours as extras, and then Tom Egume, who's this really awesome director from Brisbane I've been working with, he did a lot of like CGI and crazy editing, so it kind of feels like it's all in this castle.
It's a great use of the budget, definitely. Yeah. What's the best live show you've ever been to?
Oh, okay. Caroline Polachek at the Forum last year. That was the best show. It was so cool because, like, obviously, like, she's the craziest vocalist and the songs are so good. But the way the stage was set up, she kind of had all of her band off-center in this really interesting way. And she, like, interacted with her light show in a really cool way. And there were moments where, like, the crowd really used their imagination to, like, engage with what she was doing. For example, like, at the beginning of her song Billions, there's this, like, sound. And she made it look like she was catching beams of light. And then after she had caught a certain amount, she, like, threw them into the crowd and people would be, like, catching the beams of light that she was throwing. It was really cool.
You've talked a lot about how much you love Memphis rap. What's your favourite Memphis rap song ever? You can pick a couple if you have.
Okay. It's a few 3-6 songs. There's one called South Memphis Bitch, which is... the drums are so fucking cool in that. And I love Poppin' My Collar. Yep. And Roll With It. And then I feel like I've sampled a lot of my favourites, honestly, like a lot of DJ Zerk stuff. And then also been getting into DJ Spanish Fly lately. Yeah.
Awesome. How often do you integrate your day-to-day life into your music?
Ooh. Okay. I think all the time. Yeah, all the time. On the most recent album, again, I feel like I'm talking about the visuals so much, but I definitely thought about them a lot with this album. And there's a lot of, like, kickboxing references in the artwork and stuff. And that's something I do most days, so yeah. And again, like I was saying, like, I love realism in writing, so I think that always comes out in my lyric writing a little bit.
If you could remove or change one thing for the music industry, what would it be?
Ooh. I wish that we didn't get to this point where we, like, and it, like I said before, it's kind of how I think about music, but we have this perception that music is free because of YouTube and streaming. And in a lot of ways, that's really cool and has created room for, like, all these interesting artists to appear. But I do think that maybe as listeners, we've devalued it and devalued, like, the time and thought that goes into it as well. And it's cool to think about, you know, when people would buy CDs or vinyl, the time that would go into listening to all of the tracks on the track listing and reading all of the liner notes. And I think it would be nice if there was still more of that perspective in how we consumed music. Yeah. And I think the idea that it's free is really interesting, that we've gotten to that point.
For sure. Who should we interview next?
Ooh, you should interview Denim.
Yep.
DJ Denim. Or, yeah, no, you should interview Denim. That would be really good.
For sure. Do you have any questions, Tom?
I guess what's your perspective on like the Australian music industry from like the industry standpoint? Because like, I mean, I'm sure you've had experience in that, and like, what do you think it takes for someone to like get kind of like a break into the, I guess, from being like a small artist to like a working artist?
To answer the first part of your question, I think that there's this theme like of Australia being a fantastic incubator for really interesting music that kind of like sets trends and defines moments, which is really special. Like, I think as a country we're really punching above our weight musically, and I kind of think like everyone else kind of is obsessed with it. It's just a shame that it's difficult geographically and financially for a lot of artists to like make that next step and reach the rest of the world. I think, and then to answer the next part of your question, like an artist making it, I feel like if you have even just a small group of people that really fucking care, you're doing better than so many people. Like, yeah, to make something that is authentic and captures a feeling or a subculture that is so special. And even if it's at a smaller scale, like that's something that even the biggest artists are chasing. So yeah, you can't really put a price on that. And it's definitely something that even if, you know, you're not making heaps of money, other people are taking notice, and it's important.
Awesome. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap up, or any other things you want to say?
I don't think so.
All good.
Thank you.